こんばんは。Hello, hello, hello. 久しぶり。Welcome in, everyone. How are we all doing? It is Tuesday evening in Tokyo. Hope everyone's doing well. Another subdued stream, perhaps. Feels like they're all like that. Julian, welcome in. Nerdheart, Quilter. I still don't know how to say your name. Kismis? Is that right? I'm probably butchering it, but Kissims? Anyway, welcome in. We're still doing the Asuka Sensei project, and I gotta start that timer. chilling, sleeping morning. Chilling, sleeping morning in Philadelphia. Well, I'm very happy for you. Chill is good. We all need a bit more chill in our lives. Just K is fine. So that means I definitely butchered it. What's that? Okay, so quick update. Let's flick over. Clocks went back and I forgot stream would start sooner. Ah, okay. Yeah, the clocks don't change in Japan, so I forget that that's a thing. Last time you saw me streaming, you will have seen me do. Well, I was doing over. Gee, these blocks are massive. They're really big blocks. Hang on a second. Actually, the music and my audio. Is it okay? Where's the music? You can't hear the music, can you? No. Oh god. It's coming through on my ear, but I think last time I fiddled with this, I ended up crashing the stream. So I think we'll just leave it today. Anyway, last time you saw me, I was working on this portion over here. I did all that. I moved all the way across. Let's get this paper out of the way. Really big blocks. I went all across here, did all over here, came down, massive blocks. And you'll notice I've cleared a little bit more than I usually would. When I'm working, usually I don't clear this stuff as I work. Small stuff in between, most of it is done with a knife, and then I'll just use a little chisel every now and again and just clear up. The reason I've done a little bit extra here is one, it will be a little bit easier for me just when I'm really, really tired at the end, to just clear everything on the outside's much easier. Also, the Sheena's really weak. If I start hacking at it later, there's a real risk of missing spots, leaving bits that a lot of the times when you cut, the little waste woods can actually look like dots as well. And so by doing this as I'm going, I'm just making sure that I'm not leaving any bits or accidentally clearing stuff off when I'm working in haste at the end. So I did that now. Bits like this, obviously, I did them as I normally did. But in here I did a little bit extra because the last block like this, it was a bit of a long slog of an ordeal. I keep referring back to the spots that I have already cleared. Look, when I mean referring, I say looking at the paper to see is this a dot or is it waste wood? So I've cleared them as I've gone a little bit. Usually this isn't the way I work, but so those are those dots. And these ones, we are moving on to some much smaller dots. I got sent 2 blocks and they've got 4 bits on them. There's 2 on each block, and then there's 2 on the back as well. I got sent 2 blocks. It was 8 different sections, and in the time frame it was just, it's not possible. So I started with the most difficult block with the 2 most densely packed dots, this bit and this bit. This is the smallest bits, most delicate carving. These take kind of a long time, so I started with the most difficult stuff first. And yeah, when I run out of time, I'll be doing, well, I have the printouts for them as well, actually. I can show you them. Wow, thank you for the sub. Thank you so much. Welcome in. It's been a while since I've seen you. Instead of me fiddling around with this camera, maybe I can just show you what the back is going to look like on the other camera. I'll go face for a second. So the other side is Well, it looks kind of detailed, but the actual dots themselves are much bigger, and these little in between bits, they're not very difficult to clear. You got to make sure you're clearing them wide enough so they don't block up. And then the bottom is similar to that, but there's really not as much. On the other side of the sheet, there's only this much. It's about half the amount that's on this side I'm doing here. So yeah, we're just gonna get carving. I've started this one already. We're just gonna get into it. Let me get a nice spot, get it centered up. Got a couple little things to talk about, but because the clocks have jumped forward for you, and maybe it's a little bit early for most of you out there. If you want to skip one, I'd skip this one. I'm a bit sleepy, and it's kind of repetitive work, you know. A glowing report for my stream. 6 p.m. 6 p.m. I thought it was morning. Where are you, Kay? Where are you in the world? 6 p.m. Where would that be? Even Asia? No. Random question, but when you first started your apprenticeship, what were the very first things you were taught? Did you start carving right away from day one, or was there a lot of theory? No theory, no. Day one, I basically did a year of classes before I officially started the apprenticeship. UK, is it 6 in the UK now? Interesting. Yeah, so I just did classes to start with, and it starts with just like learning how to hold the knife and carve lines, different angles and stuff. Yours is on November 2nd. Wow, the clocks go back at different times. I had no idea about that. November 2nd, very auspicious day. Oh, repetitive, my favorite. Yeah, I'm kind of over it too, Flyfish. Whereabouts in the UK are you from, Kay? Let's just get some work done. Where are we? I'm having to reference a lot because the printout, it's actually lost a lot of detail in the lines have sort of swelled and blurred, and you can't see the nuance in the flicks and stuff and the actual shapes they're supposed to be. I just got to find where we are first and then put a marker. I'm using one of my ice skis as a little marker, so I'm finding where I am and putting it like that, so I don't have to keep finding my spot. I guess. Oh, I'm completely lost. One big bunch, second big bunch, little bit on top, flick, flick, dot, dot. There we are. I found it. We're okay. So that would mean that I am down. Okay, cool. Near Bristol. Cool, cool, cool. You say Bath? Oh, Bath is a lovely city. I've only been there once. Went for a night out there. I had some friends of friends. Such a lovely city. Is this the emergency print mentioned on Discord? Emergency print? I don't even know what I said on Discord. Let me just check Discord. Was it in the announcements? What did I say? Oh, this isn't actually the emergency print. No, this is the print after the emergency print, but also it's another emergency print. They're all emergency prints. That's all I get given nowadays. We can talk about that a little bit later. It's lovely working in Bath, but lovely visiting. But when you work there, yeah, it's the same with everywhere. I often feel about Wales in the same way. Like when I was living there when I was younger, I just couldn't wait to get out. I chose my university based solely on the fact that it was in London, because I was just, if you're going to go from a sleepy little village and you want a big change, then may as well make it as big as you can, you know. But yeah, after living away for years, you go back there, and you start to appreciate what you actually had. It's important to sit back and reflect and see what it really is. I've only been to Wales a couple of times. When I go on a weekend, break to Cardiff. I've not actually been to Cardiff much, you know. The roads between the north and the south, it's actually quicker to get to London than it is to get to South Wales. I think it's like 6 hours to South Wales, 6.5 even, but it's only 3.5 to get to London on the train because the train can go straight. So I've not spent much time. I've only been to a couple rugby games in Cardiff, and I think most of them were with school, so not really exploring. Have I been there as an adult, just like on my own? I don't think so, you know. I think I went to one rugby game, not with school, but a friend's family. So I can't really give you any tips or any hints on Wales when you go. Anxious traveller. I don't like the travelling myself. I used to really hate the trains. Not so much an anxious thing, but more so just the sitting down for a time doing nothing. Well, I still don't. I'm still not a great traveller. Yeah, so I'm just picking these little bits out the middle now because you can see here, maybe, oh, I'm off camera, jeez, sorry. Are we, yeah, let me just move the camera because this is where I want to carve. So you can see here, actually, the paper's come off a couple of these, and that one there, is that a dot or is it just wastewood that looks like a dot? The good thing about this Sheena, this plywood, is that you just saw then, you just get underneath it between the layers and that layer pops off. If you cut down to the right depth, then it's easy, it just pops off. But the bad side of it just popping off is that you haven't cut properly, or you've gone too steep on the sides. These bits can also pop off really easy as well. Let me just double check this one. Center, down. But 1, 2, 1, 2. I think they're in. Yeah, they're all in. It's gonna be funny so I can read the chat. My first career, I actually had made a rubber stamp that said panic mode because everything was an emergency. Well, it was an emergency to someone. In your first career. So you're taking the piss out of people on your first. Well, you said first career. You could have been 6 years into that. So it's not first day. Just like, oh god, everyone's so panicked. God, just relax. I understand why you moved on to a second career. You made enemies on day one. Surely, if everything's an emergency, nothing is. That's not necessarily true. Just means that some people are not organized enough, and it becomes your problem. Today, I'm determined not to just be grump, like the British stereotype, just sitting here whining about stuff. I don't want to do that. I think I probably did that a bit much on the previous stream. The truth is, I'm exhausted and I don't want to do this, and I'm not having so much fun. But we're not going to be negative and we're not going to dwell. We're just going to get the work done. I had a bit of a word with Asuka Sensei and I sent one of the blocks back because I'm going to struggle just to finish this one, let alone a second one. I took the more tricky one. But I had a little bit of a enough is enough moment. And so did Ayano, my partner. This weekend, even though I'm in the middle of this sort of the sky is falling project, and I'm not sure if I can finish by the deadline. I will finish by the deadline, I always do. But even though a long while ago, before we even booked our UK trip, perhaps, we booked a campsite for my birthday. It's sort of my birthday tradition. I try and go camping on my birthday. And This one's going to be a nice one. It's one of the, maybe I told you about Yuru Camp before. Ladyback Camp. It's an anime, Yuru Camp, about camping. It's not really my style, and I don't watch much anime nowadays. It's a little bit of a slow sort of like, I think it's probably designed for like, you've got the shonen and the which are tailored towards young boys, and then you've got the ones tailored towards young girls. I think this is probably tailored towards young girls, but it's a very peaceful little anime. But I watched it because I heard there was a bunch of really good suggestions for campsites in it, and it's actually a sweet little anime. And I've been to maybe two of them, and one of them I went to. Let me get the name of the place. One of them I went to a few years ago. I think it was 2021 was when we went there last. It's called. Can I copy this in? Let me put this in the Twitch chat. Paste. This is the campsite we're going to. It's called Shibiren, Lake Sumieso. Shibiren. Yeah, we went there in 2022, maybe 2021. I'm not sure. Somewhere around there. It's been a while. Probably 2022. And that was my first camp with Ayana. And there's two campsites. And it's usually booked up really, really soon. It's in Yamanashi. Well, the whole family as in the three of us. Yeah, my son, me, and my wife. It's his second camp. We took him to one not so long ago. Told you about. Yeah, there's two campsites. One's sort of like an auto camp. You park your car and you're on the front side of the lake. There's one tiny little mountain road that goes in. And then you sort of like up a little narrow mountain road. You go up, and then there's this lake on top. There's a little cabin there. I didn't actually enter the cabin last time. I don't know what's in there. They've probably got a little shop selling maki and stuff. But there's another more like quiet site on the other side of the lake. Yeah, haul all your stuff over there. It's not such a long walk. But it's a really, really lovely area. There's an incoming ad in 2 minutes. You've been warned. And I got my birthday present. I got it a bit early because we want it for the camp. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Snow Peak? Snow Peak is an outdoor brand here. Kind of an old brand. They sent me a little sticker. That's their logo there. It's really nice, kind of swanky camping stuff. It's a little bit glampy, but it's really well made stuff. But a bit of a bone to pick. I think, don't quote me on this, but I do think that there was some sort of controversy with the person who started it. I think he passed away, and then his daughter took over at least the clothing section. They do sort of gear and they do clothing. And I think the daughter had an affair and it was like a big thing, and she had to step down. And it was always a little bit pricey, but it's got kind of popular, I think, in America and other parts of the world as well. And they're getting a little bit, I think they're getting a bit money grabby, you know. It was always expensive, but it seems really expensive now. My backpack stove is Snow Peak. Yeah. Their stoves are really good. They're really, really well made stuff. When I moved to Japan, I hadn't heard of them. I used to do a lot of like just a tarp and a bivy bag type of camping in the UK, just like wander off. It's a little bit more tricky to do that in Japan. You can do it here, but I was a little bit. I don't want to. I have a real aversion to being that bakagaijin. I don't want to be the foreigner that like people start bitching about. And so I felt like when I moved to Japan, I came like this incredibly like good boy. A little too much, I think. Anyway, I came here and I was a little bit disappointed in camping, and I thought I'm not going to do much camping in Japan because it's all kind of structured. But you can find some nice campsites where they're a little bit looser or they're a little bit more wild than the typical campsites. And spending all my time in Tokyo, I felt like I really needed to get out. So it became like a birthday tradition to go camping. I'd like to do it more. I've slowly been building up a little collection of stuff. Not all Snow Peak, but I was a bit of a fanboy when I first came here. And I haven't bought anything from them in a while. And I never splashed out to get. They've got this like table system where all their grills and all their different products sort of fits together in this table. It's called IGT if anyone's interested. Iron Grill Table. And their stoves fit in them, you know, the certain type of stove. So my wife bought me some the frame for the IGT table. But just the legs alone was so expensive, like ridiculous. And I don't think they used to be that expensive. Anyway, we'll be taking that camping. Hopefully the weather holds out. Melts iron. The place, it has both. It's car camping and it's I just tent camping. So one side of the river where there's an actual car park as well, where people just come for a day and have a little wander around the lake. There's like car camping on that side of the lake. And the other side, there's like a little footpath that you can wander around and go to the other side of the lake, and that's obviously not. Last time when we went into the auto camp place. And this time we're going to go back and go to the other side. So even though I'm in the middle of a project, I'm not cancelling it. I've decided I'm still going. It's been a hell of a month, so I think I deserve it. And so does my family. We need to get out. I don't think I sold that anime very well either, though. You guys should watch. I think it's maybe episode 5. That's a guess. If you type in Yudu Camp real life campsites, I think it comes up. And it gives you like a list of all the different campsites in the anime. If anyone out there is interested in anime and or camping and are curious where I'm going, check it out. Am I still on camera? Is everything okay? Hang on a second. Welcome in, Zednik. What kind of temp it comes now? It's the temperature did really drop. What's the weather now? Today, low of 11. It was quite a warm day today. High of 20. Saturday, that's here in Agia though. It'll be a degree or two colder in Yamanashi, I guess. Tomorrow, low of 9, then 17. Day after 6 and 20. That's sort of the range. I guess it'll be around those lower ones. I bought my son a little waterproof down onesie today, so he'll be able to, because it might rain as well. So he should be warm and can go and roll about in puddles, and he should be dry, hopefully. It's so easy on these bits. I don't know how close up you guys can see it. It looks okay. But it's so easy to just pick off like any one of these, especially when the Hanchda is peeling off. Will Leanna be doing any bug hunting? I don't think so. I don't think there'll be many bugs there. It's the wrong time of year. It works out perfect for me. I'm not a big fan of the sweltering heat. Where was I? Oh, I can talk about one thing that happens around this time that I've been really enjoying. I don't leave the house much nowadays. I haven't even been swimming anymore this week. I stopped that on Thursday because it's just I don't have enough time. And so the only time I really leave the house now is occasionally I'll go and get some food from the convenience store. But on the way to the convenience store, there's a bunch of houses with this stuff called kimokse. Does anyone know what kimokse is in English? Japanese language test time. Where was I? Welcome in. No, kimokse is not a weird green dude in a jail. What is that? It's someone looking through the blinds. Kimokse is osmanthus. I think that's what it is in English. And it's one of my favorite smells. Does anyone know what osmanthus is? It's a little orange flower. The tree itself is a really small sort of shrubby type tree. Just bog standard green leaves. But for maybe 10 days, 2 weeks a year, around this time, I think we're just coming to the end of it. They just all bloom at the same time and they got a really, really strong smell. Haven't got that far, but I'm learning. Yeah, it's not one of the first, it's not in your Genki 1 book. For my first couple of years, like I enjoy going for a walk and I used to walk around the neighborhoods and stuff. And every now and again, you just get like this really strong waft, and it'd be in a really narrow band. And it sort of, you walk, you'd smell it really, really strongly, and then you can't really locate where it is if you don't know what the plant is or what it looks like, you know? And so for a couple of years, I was smelling this thing going, what on earth is that? Is someone just doing, like, spilled some laundry detergent somewhere? I had no idea what it is. And eventually, I don't know how I found out what it was, but it's become, it's sort of the signifier that it's your birthday coming up, Kimokse is out. I think we're just at the tail end of it. No, the flowers are smaller. It's not in the same arrangement as elderflower, but they're sort of the same size as elderflower flowers. They come on long stems, and there's sort of like flowers dotting down them. The bright orange. I really enjoy the smell. I even bought some osmanthus tea. It's just black tea with the osmanthus flowers in it. And it's not great as a tea. It's much better scent on a tree. This is amazing. Are you gonna do a Gila monster? Ah, similar skin texture. I see what you mean, like a reptile skin. Now this is, I can't actually talk about what this is. It's dots. We're just carving dots. It feels sort of like that as well, you know, because they're kind of small. It's a landscape. It's a landscape, believe it or not. I think that's all I can say. I'm not convinced laundry detergent tea sounds great. No, it's not. And in fact, I don't, the synthetic osmanthus smell sort of is a little bit sickly. It's too much. I bought some. Oh, I have it here. I bought some Mujirushi, the Muji. They have these scents. You know, the one where you put the sticks in. Hello, hello. You know the scents that you put the sticks in, it sort of wicks and evaporates out. I bought one of them, and Ayana told me that it was making her feel kind of sick, and so I had to put it in my little room here. And one day I spilt it, and it just, yeah, I closed the bottle after that. I spilt a bunch of it in my cobalt, and I had to keep the windows open for a couple weeks. Or fumigate the room, had the extractor fan on. It was really bad. You make it sound so good. It's genuinely my favorite scent in Japan. I don't know what, is it an East Asian plant? I don't even know much about it. But lots of people have them in their gardens. Sometimes they use them as like sort of the hedgerow to their gardens, cut them into squares and stuff. It's a very pleasant smell when you're just like walking around and you get this lovely. It's like the most floral smell. But yeah, I don't suggest going out and getting a bunch of synthetic ones. I'll have to get a picture. Maybe I can put it on my Instagram stories to show you guys. I was making a lino cut the other day. I forgot how tricky it can be. Yeah, lino's so squishy. Well, I said this on a different stream, and someone sent me a message actually that I you can get the linos that are different densities, so it's not so squishy. I think just this. I still have a couple of those mats in here. But yeah, it takes a little while to get comfortable back on in the saddle if you've not done it in a while. So I started this one basically last stream, didn't I? Last Tuesday. We skipped Friday. Wasn't feeling well. Let's not talk about that. I was feeling a little dizzy and faint, so I just didn't feel like streaming. Sorry about that. But this is basically since then. This is my counter. It's been counting up since then every time I work. Stop, stop. So we're at 46 hours this week. So it's really handy. I can calculate my hourly rate, and if it takes me too long, then that number gets pretty low. I hope the other side goes much quicker because I calculated like 20 hours per piece was like my rough estimation after I did that first little section. And it ended up taking a lot more than that. We're basically double. So hopefully the other side goes really, really quick. Sorry, I just lost my place again. What a waste of time. Find it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. A little bit and down. There we are. Gotcha. Are you making your own design at the moment? No, this is not my design. This is actually by a known artist. And I'm not the only carver on this project. This is a project given to me by my teacher. I'm just helping out. Are you making a non-dotty block you can switch in your break? No. I've got tiny dots and I've got slightly bigger dots. And I'm doing these well, I'm moving my hours around a little bit, mostly from 6:30 until whenever I can't do anymore, which is usually around 2, 3, sometimes 4 a.m. And then I get up at 6:30, get my son to school, and then I get back, I eat some toast, then I start work at 9, then I work till 1. I was swimming, I've stopped that. But I have a little 30-minute lunch break with my eyes closed. And then, yeah, then they come back. I bath my son. We have some dinner. I go back to work and we repeat. And it's been like that for a couple of weeks now. Well, it's been like that for a month, basically. And I'm a little bit tired. Patience of a fossil preparator. I saw there's someone doing that on Twitch. I saw that recently. I didn't get a chance to watch, but I saw that there was someone doing that. At least when you can doing fossils, you can see the difference between what you're doing and what you want to remove. Could it be? Could it be some sort of punishment project? No, no, it's definitely not. I'll get Taryn back for being such a rotten student. Fossil preparator. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, it's an easy name to remember. Sorry, you couldn't quite hear me. Sorry, let me move the. Usually, I keep this on my desk so I can sort of like keep the mic more centralized. But this block is massive, compared like for what we're used to working on. So I have the iPad much further away today. Hopefully this is better. We can do some really sensual ASMR. Steve is working on some of the stuff that Danny dug up. I'm sorry, I don't know who these... I don't know who Steve and Danny are. Danny Anduza. Is that right? Is a paleontologist. He does live streams from the field. Oh, cool. Maybe I'll check him out. Thank you for the suggestion. Yeah, please do. Yeah, whisper me the link. Thank you. Am I on camera? Yeah. Long line. Oh, dash. It's not. Thank you. Also, I said I wasn't going to bitch and moan. I already broke that. That became a little bit moany and bitchy. Other news. I gotta get some work done. You guys have seen the mat I use when I'm doing the clearing work. I have a sort of padded mat I put under my block, so it means that I can rotate my block a little easier. At the moment, I have these, they're called shitajiki. These go underneath to stop it moving, so the block stays in one place. And then I also have this quilted mat that I made. And this goes under, and then the mat, this grippy mat goes on top of this, and I can slide my mat around easy. Well, I also have this big bag. I don't know if I've shown you this before. I got this bag when I was going back and forth to the studio often. Usually you wrap your blocks in newspaper and then maybe some bubble wrap and stuff. So I was getting tired of like wrapping. The newspaper's easy, but like when you're packing things up and you also want to put like a camera tripod and stuff in your bag, it's a little bit scary. So I made this bag, and it's actually the perfect size for the Orban. Orban is like the classic size for prints. And I made it at the dimensions of the particular Orban I had. But Orban it kind of like varies. They become different sizes. Like it's around 40 whatever, you know. But some of them are a little bit bigger, some are a little bit smaller. So it doesn't fit all Orbans horizontally. And I was also thinking that like if there's probably some people out there, this also goes inside the bag, so I can put two blocks and they're protected in between. So this is my mat that goes into the bottom. This is the mat that goes on the bottom, and then It's also the one that goes as a divider inside the bag. Anyway, I told my wife's mum, and she likes knitting and sewing and stuff. She's just started to make a new bag for me that's a little bit bigger. And some mats. Just as a sample. I don't know how useful it is to most people out there, but I really enjoy this bag, and there's no product on the market for something like that because it's too niche. But if anyone wants one, maybe in the future, I can make some little branded bags. Let's see the chat. I've missed so much. Any updates on the set of carving tools you received? You were saying you were going to remodel them. They're still in the drawer. I've done nothing. I haven't had a free second. As soon as I get a free second, maybe over the New Year's holiday, I will grind them down. Theoretically, could a million teeny holes be carved quicker with a small chisel and aggressive hammering? In theory, they could, but this particular work, these dots all have to align with other dots. The picture is made of dots, and all the dots sort of, they butt up. So this is like, let's say this is a brown block, and then there's a green block that comes in between, and they all have to line up like this. So just hammering randomly wouldn't get. And also, that's not how we work. We're professionals here. We work to high standards. It's a reproduction work as well, so we're also reproducing a piece of artwork made by an artist. And so just sort of interpreting with a hammer yourself is not really good enough. Yeah, it's basically pointillism. I can't say too much about it. I really don't even think I should be showing it to you. Typically, if I was doing sort of work for my teacher, then I would not do it on stream. But deadlines are too tight. And I'm not willing to stop streaming for this. It's going to be a long time as well, you know. I'm guessing we're going to be seeing a lot more dots as well because there's 4 prints in the series. So I'm going to be roped in again. It's a lot, you know. It's a lot. I've not been... just give me a moment to sort of be a bit grumpy. It's a lot. I've been a little bit exhausted recently. On a good night, I've been getting maybe 6 hours. And it's one thing just like, I'm a craftsman, I get the block, but when it's tight deadlines and stuff, always tight deadlines, because someone else has made poor life decisions, it sort of irks me. And I've been a bit Crimea. Are those Crimea River little, what are they? Falling flowers. It should be tiny violins. I'm over it. I'm done bitching. Here we go. Imagine it's 1,000. Yeah, you're in the right vein there. I'm not talking about it anymore. I refuse to, because you guys are going to start figuring too much out. what's the plan for the bonsai print? Is it going to be sold at some point? And the samurai print, yeah. So the bonsai print, that'll be done when it's done. That's a personal project of mine. Mokankan work comes first. That pays my salary. So sort of 9 to 5, 9 to 6. That's what I do. 5 days a week. I'm a carver for Mokankan. And that's what puts food in our belly. So that is the priority. This is extra work. This is work for my teacher. So if I get work from my teacher, that means that in the evenings and weekend, my second job starts. And so anything other than that, is left at the wayside. The bonsai print will be done at some point, I promise. And it will be sold. I'll probably do some campaign for it. I haven't fully decided. There may be a Kickstarter. That's probably what I'll end up doing with it. But there'll be videos and promotional stuff. There'll also be a video on Bjorn's channel. All I need is like a week to sit down and do it. If I can get a bit of time, and I might just end up taking some paid holidays. Hello, welcome in, Sensei Martian. How are you doing? Oh, a raid. Thank you. Oh, is it from Sensei Martian? Thank you. Arigato. How was your stream? What were you doing? I think I did see very briefly earlier. You were watching something about running. Are you taking up running? As I was prepping for the stream, I did see that you're on. Just a bit at dinner and chatting. Feel free to bounce off after your stream and chill. You just said you had dinner, but have a beer or something. We'll slowly try and incorporate some amount of running. Not for streams, just for health. Nice. Running's great. Running's a funny one, Like, it takes... I don't know what clicked in my head when I was younger. I used to hate running. We used to have this thing in my school where we'd like leave the school grounds and just because I'm from the countryside, like middle of bumfuck nowhere. And we used to just run from the school, go around the village, through some fields, and come back. It was quite far, and it was just one of the worst days of the year because it was always hot when we had to do this. It was awful. And I tried it later in my teens, and I hated it. And then just one year, I just went for a run, and something clicked, and I absolutely loved it. And then I got obsessed with it just before coming to Japan, and I ran for like every day for I think it was like 10 and a half months before I got an injury. I just got hooked on it. I ran every day. I ran in typhoons. I ran the day that I flew to Japan. So after like a 14, no, it wasn't 14, it was more like 30-hour flight. I got all my stuff and I went for a run that day. Anyway, so it's probably not a surprise that I got injured, but I'm not sure what advice to give to someone who's like getting into it. The runner's high thing is bollocks. That's what everyone used to tell you. Oh, runners like it because you get the runner's high and it feels great. I think that's the wrong way to look at it. I think the key is just going slow. I ran for several years, had to stop. Too big a frame to run on asphalt. Yeah, it can really mess your knees up. I've had some knee problems. I used to run to the pub. Running's running. It doesn't matter where you're going. And whatever gets you out. What am I doing? Super precise. Sorry, yeah. Sorry, Raiders. If you don't know who I am, my name is Taryn Casey. I am a Japanese woodblock carver. Right now, I'm making an undisclosed print. This is a project for my teacher, and it's a bunch of dots. There's more dots. The dots continue. It's just a lot of dots. I can't really show you the image. It's sort of NDA, but it's a very big block. I think it's like 55 centimeters long, and they've got to be cut precisely. This is my finger for reference. Got to cut all these with nice little flicks and tastes on them. Lots and lots and lots of dots. And then there's more on the back, and there's more at the top. Lots and lots of dots. I really need to get a lens that zooms. It's become untenable, especially with these big projects. Yeah, we had lizard scales earlier. I guess fish scales is also a good analogy. I hope no one... What is the name of the... I don't know if it works the other way. The phobia of little tiny holes. People don't like looking at lotus flowers. I can't remember what the name of the phobia is. The phobia is small dots, like looking at someone with like large paws or something that kind of freaks people out, right? This is the inverse of that. Maybe there's some people who are really... Their skin is crawling watching this. I mean, like, if this was a fossil and you're doing these little bits like that, it would be probably fish scales. Oh, true. Yeah, I can see that. Trypophobia, thank you. Is there a certain techers on the holes? Without breaking, be good. Don't put too much pressure on one way. Go 45 degrees. Keep practice. Practice is the key. I can't explain how to do it right now. The techers is to practice a lot, break a lot of tips of your blade, sharpen again, and do it again, and do thousands of them. And then you get good. Technique. I think techers is technique. I did read that correctly. It did say techers, right? Yeah, it did say techers. Do Americans not use techers? The key is to hold your knife like a little flower, like you're holding a baby hamster in your hand. You don't want to squish it. I don't know why a baby hamster. I'm sorry. I'm not sleeping much nowadays, you know. A baby hamster. I guess it kind of works as an analogy. Just cradle it. We recall the plastic practice block. Yeah, yeah, there's lots of them. Need a bit of oil. Is there a special kind of knife you have to use? Yeah, this is the knife I use. It's called a hangito or a kogatana, which just means small katana. You can get away with any small little, like, craft knife to begin with. But this is the one, this is what you want to get. Usually they come in a white handle, like this. So these are what you want. And it should fit pretty snugly in your hand. You can switch over. It should just fit between the pads of your fingers. So if you get one that's big, cut it down. Good luck. Am I focused? Courageous. I don't know if I'm courageous in carving a lot of these dots. This is the work. I don't have a choice in it. This is what I got to do. You know, you pick away at them. Slowly they come. The other blocks are, or they'll be the same. I already have the printouts. It's not the work that I am worried about. It's more the time constraints to do it. If I had a month to do a couple of these blocks, I'd be perfectly happy to do it. It's that sort of like you got 10 days, get going type of thing. So it's not the work, it's the time frame that's tough. Well, typically I get given not the tedious stuff, but the most difficult stuff. I get the complicated stuff. And in theory, that stuff pays more. And then the people who are less experienced, they get the easier blocks. There will come a day when you only carve what you want. Yeah, I'm. I'm biting my tongue. Let's not. Let's not go into that. I don't mind doing work for other people. That's sort of the job of a carver. I'm a craftsman. You know, you put a piece of work on my desk, done. no problem. Tiny dots, no problem. Thin lines, no problem. Tedious work, okay. But yeah, you're right. One day it will be just the work I choose to do. Perhaps sooner than we all think. What's your proudest carving to date? Probably one of the Hokusai, the Hokusai print, the Liu Bang with the white snake. Can I put a link in here? Let's see how far we can get without a mouse. No, not that one. No, I've got a mouse, sorry, without a keyboard. Keyboard's the problem. I can't do it without a keyboard. I don't have it. There we go. Prints. Da, 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 da. There we go. Got it. Copy. Someone's probably already beaten me. That's probably it's, yeah. Misty Day at Nico also holds a special place in my heart, because that was the one that let me quit the day job and become full-time. Well, I trained to not rotate the block from the start. He didn't train that way. So I did all my practice. Well, I guess no, even when I was doing my own stuff. Basically, from the start, when I started carving, I made it a point never to move. Need more dots. And you can see the virtue of like not rotating the block when you've got a big block like this. I'm struggling just to like move it on the desk. It's without smashing into the wall or the pole or the camera cable and stuff. And so if I had to rotate the block on every single one of these little dots, also I'd be carving way out in front of me and then really close. It'd be all over the place. It'd be a nightmare to carve this. Gotta earn your chops. What do you mean earn your chops? I've earned my chops. I paid my dues, Mr. Flyfish. I need some wire brushes for my Dremel. Is there a conversation I missed here? Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. When you get any bits for Dremel stuff, they always come. I got one here. I ended up buying a big pack with a bunch of stuff for all these different pads just because I wanted like this little set of um cutters and sanders. Yeah. Hang on a second. Is that single or double dot? The ink is sort of smudged together. That one is a single, but with a little flick on the end. But the one next to it's a double. Single with a tail. Double. Still connected. Are repetitive strain issues a problem in carving and printing? There are some stuff. I know Dave often says that there's nothing, but there are some stuff that pops up. For printers, I don't know as well, but I know that there are often physical pains with printing. Some of them get back problems and lots of wrist stuff, especially when you're working on really big, wide stuff all day, every day. It gets to be quite a lot. Maybe if you have a sort of tendency to strain something, maybe you damaged it in the past and stuff. So that there is a little bit of that. Most of it, it's pretty light. Everything's pretty ergonomic and it's not so bad on your body. For me, I don't ever get hand issues. Hand issues aren't really a thing because when I'm using the big hammer to clear the wastewood, that's tiring. But the amount of time I spend doing that in comparison to everything else, it's not that much. So hand issues aren't really a thing. I get a stiff back, but I've always like scoliosis is a bit of a thing in my family. My grandmother was like bent over like a what's it. So I got to be careful with that. I think, yeah, I occasionally get some back issues, but that's more me. What else? Eye strain and stuff. That's it's obviously a thing. My eyes have like I've kind of hammered my eyes late nights with like some bright light. I do have a little postcard here blocking the direct light to the bulb. So that helps, but you've got to take care of your eyes. Repetitive strain. Mostly it's just like issues with doing something. Like mostly it's sitting down for long hours. Like if you, I tend to put my feet in weird positions, and so the last couple of days I've got like a little bit of pain in my foot because I've been like putting my foot in a weird position unconsciously this month constantly. But not really from the work, it's mostly from sitting. I should get up and I should stretch in between You don't see the workbench as being terribly ergonomic. Well, it is angled. I can't show you now, but it's it's angled like this, so my arms are resting sort of like that. They're not. If it was a flat table, it'd be always hunched over like that. But the table, it's got little chucks underneath it. I'm constantly like tweaking and making it the most comfortable it can be. I used to get problems when I sat cross-legged. I now sit with my legs through the hole. And I did suffer from a thing where I was, again, it was doing these late night projects. I had like a few months of just being hammered by these late night projects with tight deadlines. And I tend to sit on my foot. You know, when you sit cross-legged, one of the foots goes underneath and takes a lot of the weight from the other leg. For me, it's my right leg that comes in first, and you sort of end up sitting on that. It gets squished under the left leg. And I got numbness, really quite bad, just persistent numbness on the outside of my foot there. And I felt it sort of working up a little bit. And I was a bit worried that I was just going to be like that for forever. I went to the doctors and got some pills and stuff, but it slowly went away when I stopped putting in, when that project was finished. A few months after, maybe like 5 months after, it was like fully gone. So it does take a toll on the body, but mostly it's not from repetitive stuff. It's just working silly hours, which is true with any job. If you work silly hours in any job, what's it? Oh yeah, the British people. I keep making reference to like British snacks and British slang, not realizing that it's British snacks and slang. Maybe a quaver would have been better. Do you have quavers in America? Or the rest of the world? How terribly America centrist me. I think I say America because I know that the majority of the people that watch are from America. I knew a professional fly fisher whose husband built an overhead series of ropes, pulleys to support while she worked. She looked like a puppet. A series of ropes and I'm trying to figure this one out. Was the wife disabled or something? Why was she being puppeted? Was it to help or was it just for ergonomics? Just ropes and pulleys just to keep you ergonomic? Just to straighten your back and stuff. Wow. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hello, Canton. Welcome in. Maybe I should do that. Should I put some pulleys on the roof? Pull me up. Oh, it's 11. We can go for a little bit more. so easy to get lost in these dots, you know. I did try one of those. Um, they're sort of like elasticated straps, and you pull them to like keep your back like that. They're actually not very good, I think, because they train your muscles to relax because the strap's doing all the work. But I tried just to use them to get myself in position, but I felt like when I was carving, I need to sort of get myself in a comfortable position. So I just made them dig in and like cut all the circulation off in my arms. So they didn't last very long, but I did try them for a bit. It's not quite as extensive with all the ropes and stuff on the ceiling, but I'm sorry, the tunes have been banging today. None of you can hear the music I'm listening to. It's been on point. This is probably something worth talking about. The salvage cuts, you see me do it on these. This is something very different. Well, not currently, but the way I do it is very different from other people you're maybe watching on Twitch. Yeah, post it in the Discord. I'd love to see. I'm really quite curious to see. Yeah, these waistcots to sort of clear away the wood from the line. Usually you don't see me do these on my normal blocks. I do them when the lines are particularly small. So I'll clear away the sides here. But on long lines and on every line, if I was cutting this green, for example, where can I do it? If I was cutting this green, for example, coming down here, I'm not going for the second cut here. There's a couple reasons I don't do that. One is that the way I don't clear as I go along. And so actually having this line here, when I come in with my chisels later, I got big round chisels, and I come in and I come along that line like this. Or if I'm coming down this way, sometimes the back of your round gouges can just clip a little bit the back of the line there. You can see what I'm talking about. If I'm coming from this side, are you going to be able to see? The back of it could clip the side of the line there. And if I do it with a little bit of wastewood there, the wastewood takes it. But if I do it on wood that I've already cleared, then it's really, really easy, particularly on like towards the bottom of the block or in really tight areas. You'll see it happen a lot. And I've noticed like if you need to go a little bit deeper after you've cleared the whole block, you've You've done all the big clearing, then you've done ice skate, and you just think, yeah, printers are going to complain, I'm going to go a bit clearer. And then you come in with those big chisels close to those lines that don't have any of that protective wood near the edge. It's really easy to just touch the edge of those lines, even if you're quite far away. The angle you need to get with the chisel, super easy to just tie. And you'll see, if you've test printed a block, you'll see that it'll just be like a little shiny edge on those things, and if you have the wood there, it protects it. That's one of the big reasons why I don't clear. Also, it's not necessary. It's like a waste of time. If you imagine that I've cleared that, now I'm coming in with an ice ski here. Well, I'm coming in with an ice ski anyway. So instead of doing 2 cuts and an ice ski, I'm just doing 1 cut and an ice ski, and I've done the same thing. There's your little lesson for today. We did have a question in the Discord. I'm not going to go much longer, but I did have a question, I think, in the Discord, and we want to do question time. Should have read these questions before. What iPad do I use for touching up and editing these idiot videos? That is from D. Just D. You had a different name before. I think you changed your name. It says it's just D now. Anyway. Mr. D, what iPad do I use? I don't know. Maybe one of you could tell me. It's a Pro, but I got it years ago. It's a... What is it? I don't know. What a terrible question, Simon. I hope that answered your question. I'll figure it out. Oh, Jesus. I can't even figure it out. Wait a second, it might tell me my apps. It just says iPad Pro. I don't know what generation it is. Ah, okay. Well, I didn't know that. Thank you. That's really... So the names get blurred out in case I want to put it on stream. Interesting. Cool, that's good to know. Thank you. Anyway, it's some sort of iPad Pro. It's at least 5 years old. It might be 6. I enjoy it. It's good for the tracing look. Have we made some progress? I think we made some progress. It was about over here. We've done about that much. Which doesn't seem a terrible amount of progress, considering we still do have to get all the way down through all of this stuff. But it'll happen. We'll get there eventually. All it needs is hours. We just need to put hours in. I think we'll probably leave it there. Thank you everyone for showing up. I will try and do one on Friday, and I will definitely still be doing the same work. Hopefully this won't be done by Friday. There's no way. There's not a chance. But hopefully we'll be at least past halfway on this. Otherwise, like, this project's cooked. Should have kept it covered up. Why is it? No, it's okay. I don't mind. That's not the thing that's daunting. It's the time that's daunting. Have a great time zone. I've never heard that before. Thank you. Um, you guys enjoy the rest of your days. Do we want to do a raid? Is there anyone on? I don't want to say anyone interesting. Oh, wait a second. Go to Stream Manager. Thanks for that link as well. I will check out that paleontologist, was it? Cheers, Kay. I'll call you Kay from now on. I'll try a couple more times actually. I do want to have a go at pronouncing it properly. Yeah, I'm back 9:30 a.m. on Friday, Japanese Standard Time. I will see you there. Let's go to our good friend Koringami. He's, I think, still designing Zodiac kitties. Yeah, let's go over there. Say hello. Be friendly. Be nice. And I will see you next Friday. Sleep well, everyone. Sleep's very important. Peace.